We all please rise and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we did a bunch of stuff yesterday that we're basically having to redo today just because it's supposed to be done in public versus everything was yesterday was done kind of in private. So the first thing, yesterday we received a resignation letter from Chief Meehan. The letter read, "This is to advise you that I, Daniel Meehan, am resigning my position as Fire EMS Chief, EMA Director, and Town Forest Warden for the town of Lebanon. It's been my pleasure to be Lebanon's first full-time fire chief to serve the citizens of Lebanon and to work with many great department members. Thank you, Daniel Meehan." To be clear, Chief Meehan did a great job combining the town's fire and rescue departments. He was a nice guy, good firefighter. I am very sure he will be missed. I make a motion to accept his resignation. All those in favor? Next, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Daniel Mathews as I'm doing this.
Interim.
Yep. To appoint as the interim fire and EMS chief and EMA director within the municipality of Lebanon until a new one is appointed. All those in favor? You let Dale come on in. If she's out there somewhere. Press. Coming this way. Just watch the cord. You can go around.
Okay, thanks.
Give me my pen.
I'll just slide by and then I'll move. Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Do you want to hold this here? I'm sorry, what? Hold this for him so he put his right hand on there. Yep. Please put your right hand on there. Okay, Chief. So, right hand up, please. Oh, right hand on the Bible. So, repeat after me. I, Daniel Mathews.
Daniel Mathews.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution.
I will support the Constitution.
And obey the laws.
And obey the laws.
Of the United States.
Of the United States.
And of the state of Maine.
And of the state of Maine.
That I will in all respects observe.
And I will in all respects observe.
The ordinances of the town of Lebanon.
The ordinances of the town of Lebanon.
And will faithfully discharge.
And will faithfully discharge.
The duties of the office.
The duties of the office.
Of interim fire and EMS chief.
Of interim fire and EMS chief.
And EMA director.
And EMA director.
Thank you. And please sign right here. Thank you. Today's the 16th, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
No, remain standing, Chief. Just a couple of brief comments. He didn't want this, trust me. But while this appointment is only an interim appointment, the board has full confidence in the chief to lead the department forward, and in fact, we urge and hope that Chief Mathews applies for the position when we post the position. I also say it's great to see the support here. It warms my heart very, very much to see it. He's a humble leader, and he didn't want to make this a big deal. He really didn't. But I know that as a 30-year career firefighter with the Massachusetts Fire Department, working his way up the chain of command to where he is currently a captain, this is a big deal to him in his heart, but he won't let you know that. So I'll just say, the town of Lebanon thanks you for stepping up and taking charge of this great department. The board is here to help and support you in any way we can. I would also like to recognize the responders. Change is never easy, and the town appreciates your great service, and we're confident that Chief Mathews can lead you forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we got. Unless you guys have Nothing else? Thank you. Go have fun. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
I put them back.
All right. Next. Okay.
Absolutely.
Where we at? Good. Wait, we're at not even 5 minutes. Wow. Okay, so we can get rid of. We can do some paperwork. Oh, that's the resignation letter. Just want to kind of initial it, and then we'll give that to Jordan. And we can approve the minutes if we so choose.
We're just doing this one first.
Make a motion to accept the Thursday, November 9th minutes as written.
Second it.
All those in favor? The other ones are pretty easy. Make a motion to accept the Tuesday, November 14th minutes, which is essentially just the executive session.
Second it.
All in favor? And I make a motion to accept the Wednesday, November 15th minutes, again, which is essentially just the executive session.
Second it.
Oh, sorry, all those in favor? Do you have any paperwork over there?
I do. I have the impound fee and authorization for treasurer regarding third-party checks.
Just to get fresh signatures on it. They were old signatures.
Yeah,
Oh,
2014.
do you have any issues with these?
No,
Third party?
that's what that's the policy we have. I think Paul had already signed it, maybe. Oh no, he probably didn't. No, it wasn't him.
And the impound fee. This is just a duplicate of what we're already doing. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, that was quick. I just saw it. Put them in minutes. They were hanging up on the bulletin board. And I go, oh.
That's it for me.
So wow, it's easy. All right, come on. We got you early. Don't keep you waiting any longer.
Oh, cards.
Card.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul collects cards.
Go by Edward or Ed?
Ed's good.
That's good. This is essentially about the franchise agreement,
Yes.
correct? And to extend or there's a resolution in this that you guys want us to basically, or something similar, but
That's right. We are in the process of selling our, the cable system, our whole operation from MetroCast Communication Heron to Atlantic Broadband.
Okay.
We have actually 33 communities that we serve in New Hampshire and Maine. We've had 30 approvals to date. 2 towns have opted not to take action, so it automatically gets approved in 120 days. which is December the 11th, and the final town is Lebanon, Maine, that we're seeking approval for the transfer. The closing date that we're looking at is January the 4th, and we're in the process right now of going through all the regulatory acceptance procedures, and it looks like we'll be able to close on the 4th.
Okay.
Atlantic Broadband has agreed to keep all of the current employees with MetroCast in our systems.
Okay.
Basically, the transfer is Atlantic Broadband will be responsible for all the terms and conditions in the current franchise that you have. The current franchise that you have is operating on an extension until we negotiate a new one. So all the terms that are in there will still be the responsibility of Atlantic Broadband.
Right, I guess a question I had though is the extension here was indefinite. So there's no time certain on this extension that was executed, it looks like in December of 16.
That's right.
Because they said that when a new franchise is adopted, but with a open-ended extension, it's basically like an indefinite. I mean, so I guess that concerns me because now I don't have a contract that has a finite definition. So we had a previous one that ended
In 2016.
December 18th, 2016, and then we extended this one while we negotiate, but yet it wasn't for a time certain, and so I guess I'm concerned that now I've got essentially a 100-year contract, a 200-year contract. I mean, because if we never agree, this is still in place. Can you help me with that?
Yep. The reason that we went the extension route is at the time, MetroCast was told when we were in here to negotiate the franchise, we were requesting a 10-year term franchise, which was the same term that we used in the previous, and which is the common term that we use throughout our systems. And we were told at the time that the select board was not allowed to enter into a 10-year agreement. They were only allowed to enter into a 3-year term agreement. And the FCC franchise renewal period is a 3-year period. So every time, you would never be out of the negotiation period if you had a 3-year renewal. You would be, the minute you signed that renewal for 3 years, we would be handing you the request for a renewal for the process to start again. So what we were told is that the last select board told us that they were going to work on an ordinance that would allow them to grant a 10-year term. They were going to actually do some research and find out whether the franchise was considered under that 3-year contract limitation that the board had at the time.
Right. I think it's the word franchise versus contract was the question, and I think their legal opinion was they are one and the same as far as in a legal definition. But when we got in and upon our research, and upon receiving this package for Atlantic, I reached out to legal, and a simple question was asked: "Do you guys have a cable TV ordinance?" And I said no. And so that's actually one of those ordinances that we are allowed as a board to adopt on our own, rather than through like a referendum as far as the voters. And so we did indeed enact that. So we actually now have a cable TV ordinance that actually allows us to go up to 15 years.
Okay.
So that part of the problem is now no longer.
And I don't think that MetroCast was notified of that change.
That only happened within the last month or two, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That was a fairly recent. So initially we thought we were going to have to do it through the referendum process, which was just a week and a half ago in November, which is why this was scheduled after the vote. But in the process of getting it put on the ballot, we then realized that no, it doesn't go on the ballot, though, that's actually something that we can do on our own, and so we held a public hearing, and then we adopted it ourselves, so.
At this point, I think that it would be better, and I don't think that MetroCast would want to go through the renewal process between now and the beginning of the year. And I think that it'd be a great opportunity for Atlantic Broadband to come in here and negotiate the terms of the new franchise renewal.
No, I would agree, I guess what I'm concerned with right now is that if I approve this going forward, I'm still on an unlimited contract, because the extension is unlimited. There's nothing that says it ends, and so if there's no deadline, if there's no agreement, it just continues with the existing, because there's no deadline to make it go away.
But I think that and I'm not an attorney.
Neither am I.
That the minute you request the renewal procedure to start again, it has to start again, and that's when you enter into the negotiations for the franchise renewal.
Okay.
I think that the select board controls the timing.
Okay. All right. So then how do I have to wait till after the January 4th closing or whatever, and then, okay.
And
Is there a contact person or who I should be?
Yes, the contact person is with Atlantic Broadband, but I can help facilitate that.
So I'm
Because
assuming you're gonna
staying
still
on.
be, okay.
Yes.
Are you gonna still be like our contact person type of
Yes,
thing?
yes,
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
And on your cards that I gave
So you have a card, you have as well as his email, and that will change, or
And
is that gonna go down to Atlantic?
I think that they're taking over the email as well. At some point in time, they're gonna wanna brand their name on it. But that cell phone number is a cell phone I carry 24 hours a day.
Okay.
So if you find that you need to talk to somebody after midnight, I'm available.
Okay. You have any questions?
No.
So I have another one, and it's really more just for, so like Fire Station 2 right now has some major issues with their phones. And I don't know, and so how do I, not to mention that our internet drops out probably once a week, here, and it's, between security and our servers and everything else, it's not, it's a pain in the butt. I don't know as far as on the reliability, if there's anything that can be done with that. I don't know.
I think that let's start with a service call and find out what's going on, because we have monitoring equipment that allows us to check our equipment right down to the modem, right down to the modem output, and we can see if the modem's dropping off. We can see if the speeds are going down. So I would say let's start with a service call.
Okay. All right.
And I can set that up for you tomorrow.
Okay, all right.
Who would be my contact person?
Jenny,
Jenny.
Jenny, do I have a number for you?
we probably ought to
What's the
get
best
her.
way to
We
contact?
probably ought to get you a card.
I know, right? It's I don't know.
Is it the number that's on the website? I'll do that. I'll
Extension
call
110.
I will call you. Are you in tomorrow?
Yes. 7:00.
I'll call you tomorrow.
Thank you.
So you're still part of MetroCast, or are you already part of Atlantic, or?
I am part of MetroCast until the deal closes.
So are they willing to give towns any kind of perks to get them to sign?
We already
I'm just being
are giving
honest.
you perks.
Oh, what are we getting?
You're getting free internet service for here.
Oh, we are?
For all 5 of your buildings.
Oh, I didn't know
That's
that.
above and beyond your franchise.
Oh, that's for the
That's
Atlantic?
about- yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
That's about $4,000 a year in service.
Okay.
And so that's one of them. You also get free cable service to all your public buildings and schools.
Oh, okay, okay, I didn't know that.
And we also provided the $4,000 to set up the camera and equipment here.
Yeah, but that was, so Atlantic is doing the free for the year once they close, is that correct?
That's part of the agreement that we have with you, and those terms roll over to the new contract, yes.
Oh, so we're currently under that program now,
Yes, yes. you
based
are.
on the extension,
Yes.
but that year then goes away?
No.
Oh, okay. Is fiber optic service available to us?
You have fiber up to here.
Oh, we
It's
do?
not to the building, yes, but it's right outside.
So we don't have it in the building, but
Not
it
in the
is.
building, it's right outside. You really don't need it in the building. As long as you have the connection right outside.
Oh, so
what
we're,
is, yeah, so I guess what's the question, what's the need?
so isn't it more reliable in as far as reliability and speed?
It is right out there.
So, but is it a bottleneck between here and the pole?
No, but we can tell with the service, you shouldn't have any issues whatsoever.
Okay.
I don't think you should be, I think that right now you're on, I think you're on 50 megabits. And I think I don't think you should have an issue with that here, but we'll see what you're using.
Okay.
And then so what we would do, if you wanted more, and this is the plan we have with all our towns, if you wanted more than the 50 megabits,
yeah,
you have the opportunity to buy more, and you get a credit for the service between there. So you're not your service will be
I'm only
discounted.
paying for the incremental
That's exactly right.
amount.
And we have towns that buy more, or they'll buy additional speed for their police station or for their one fire station, but they won't buy it for everything else. But you have the opportunity to upgrade your services.
Okay, but there is fiber right out
Yeah,
there now.
there
Is there
is.
fiber on 202 as well?
Yes, there is.
So that means basically the same as like for the station?
Yes,
For station
we
2?
have. We take our fiber down into each one of the neighborhoods, and from there we split out with coaxial cable.
Mm-hmm.
So our line that goes from here back to our head end and back to our main sites is fiber optic cable.
Okay. All right, and so then you need us to
Approve the resolution.
approve this resolution and then obviously sign off on it, correct?
Yes, please.
You guys all, no, you probably haven't, because I have the only copy, right?
Probably.
I'm gonna pass it around, because I don't want to read the whole thing. It's not that long, I don't want to, unless you guys really want me to.
And if you have any residents, customers of ours that you're aware of that's having issues, I would encourage you to give them my number, my information, and I'll work with them.
All right, good.
You're a gas.
Make a motion that we approve the resolution approving the transfer of the cable television franchise granted by the town of Lebanon.
I'll second it.
Yep. Any discussion?
Yeah.
All those in favor? Want us all to sign, or you just need me to sign, or?
I think one, we'll do that it both ways.
We want somebody to attest. There you go. You can attest from the outside. Pass and adopted this. What's today?
16th.
16th. Day of November. Hey Jordan, can you do me a favor? Can you make a copy of something for me? Hold on.
Sorry, Jordan. Okay. Thank you, Jordan.
What do you need?
Well, we need one, and you want the original one, assuming? Yep.
Yes, please.
So I just need one for our record.
I will contact you tomorrow without a service call, and please hold on to my card. If there's anything, any questions or anything you need, I am available.
Great.
Thank you very much. And your meetings look very good on your website.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, almost time for you.
Oh,
Okay, just let me get the copy and you're up.
I don't know if they're here.
What are you looking for, Kim?
Velvet violets.
No, they're not here.
Okay.
Everyone else is here though.
I wasn't supposed to invite them.
No,
You guys
I invited them. They're coming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
I see a car pulling in.
Yeah, and Ty's out there. I see Ty.
I'll also wanna get the new fire chief's email,
Yeah, you can get that from Jenny.
being on the public safety committee.
You want me to just
I
wait
said,
outside?
Thanks.
Yeah, I can, do you want me to just email
He'll be
it?
back in 2 seconds, I don't know.
He-
He took off, he decided to take a siesta. Huh.
Hey, you're using the coffee, you want?
There you
Thank
go.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Huh?
I mean, I know about the bennies, but
Yeah.
they never came in and swooned us like that.
I still was trying to get more.
I know, I heard that.
I was honest, but. Alright.
It's a good gig at the school with all those TVs.
It is.
Anything else for us? Nothing? So Tuesday, 5:15 meeting, right?
Yep.
So,
Are you doing something first?
No, you can go first. I just have something. I was gonna give them something at their party, but.
No, I think you should go first.
Huh?
Where are we gonna do it?
I think right here.
Okay.
That's why I got the chairs on.
You know what, then why don't I move some of these chairs so we can get through? There's nobody sitting. I just wanna make sure I don't have to. Good?
So let me know if you ever wanna talk marijuana. What a mess.
It is a mess, isn't it?
Well, we never should have been voting on it that early. They had till the end of January and they just,
How does that happen? Is that just because it's a petition?
I don't know, but I'm really concerned about the excise tax benefit to municipalities. Because then you're gonna have municipal employees bringing loads of cash into a bank, which is breaking federal law when you say it's marijuana grow money.
Absolutely.
So they didn't even take that up, so they're back to the drawing board is what I understand, and they better hurry.
yeah, but hers kind of go up now to the end of 18 at least now.
I think we would have to vote on that. Right now it's in veto, but the committee still has time to, now that the legislature has spoken on it, and they know what people don't like about it, that they have time to fix it. That's the state.
Yeah, but the issue with the federal isn't gonna get fixed.
No.
So
No, and that's a
isn't he
big
still-
thing
isn't
for
he-
law
So
enforcement.
isn't he still gonna veto it just because of that?
Well, I'll tell you, even if we had fixed it, he was gonna drag his heels and not appoint anybody for any of his departments, allow them to do rulemaking. He does not want this.
Right.
But I look at that as 11 months. We have a new governor.
Yep.
It's gonna have to be dealt with.
I like the fact they're getting stricter on the medical side of it. Those new rules going into effect.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to commingle the two. They're very different. One is
No,
under.
there's a brand new set of new rules that's going into effect January 1.
Yeah, but the bill that we voted on was supposed to be
that's right.
strictly
Yeah,
recreational. And they commingled them,
Right.
one is under HHS and one is under ag.
Right.
So that was a problem for some people.
Yep.
You know. I guess Acton's had some meetings.
Oh, about it, alright. Oh, yeah. I actually have a question on the state police if they're comfortable with us to get advice on what's.
Well, we have, the state police and law enforcement have everything they need for impaired driving. But what we don't have is law on the books for the level of THC.
Yeah, they're coming.
No, my issue is
Here they are.
social club. When does a group of friends smoking pot every weekend become a social club?
Come sit right over here. Right over here, Henry. Right over here.
Because those definitions have to be defined in the law.
Where do you draw that line? Not to mention if you're smoking that.
Right here?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a chair right there.
All sorts of questions.
How they're not actually oh my gosh, I just put it together. Love Island.
Hi. How are you? Do you want me to go first? You want to go first?
I don't know what I'm doing, so you're taking charge.
Okay. Wow. It's so nice to see the family here. We'd like to recognize you guys.
That is something wonderful.
It is, because you're wonderful. We were trying to figure out how long you had been involved in the town, and I'm not sure if we got it right, but Paul tried to help us out with that, you know. And we just want to recognize you for the service that you and Lucinda have given the town.
What?
Yes. Yes, you have. So this is from us.
What have we done?
A lot. This is for 50 years, we think it's 50 or close to it, of service to the town of Lebanon, presented to Henry and Lucinda LaViolet in grateful recognition of your dedicated service to the town of Lebanon. Thank you.
Oh, that
Hey, when I came to work here 17 years ago, you guys helped me at elections because my first election was a presidential, and you know how those go. So if it wasn't for you guys and now all of the ballot clerks.
well, we got love from everybody. And we got along so fine. I mean, it was. We enjoyed everything that we did in the town.
Now we haven't
That's your
had a
plaque.
chance to.
So we just wanted to show a little appreciation, to say thank you.
Oh my gosh.
We would never expect that.
Well, I know, but you deserve it, and we just wanted you to know that. And now Representative Garish is gonna come over and say a few words also, okay?
Yeah. See, that's the plaque.
Oh my
50
God.
years service.
Yeah, it's here.
What do I do, hit the right button?
Yeah, it's just the picture button.
That's
Okay. Henry, I'm glad you're feeling better. You had me a little worried. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Lucinda. Hi. I just put it all together that I work with your family, and I'm Ty. Oh, it's you.
I know.
Had you all in school. Okay, so I have something for you both. Because you have been married an incredibly long time.
Yeah.
70 years is a big deal. Right? Don't you agree?
You're trying to find out how old we are.
I think it's, all I'm gonna say is you've been married longer than I've been alive. So I have something from the Maine State Legislature for you.
Oh, that is something nice too.
Yeah, it is. I'm honored to be the one to present this to you. You're good friends. Be it known to all that we, the members of the Senate and House of Representatives, join in recognizing Henry and Lucinda LaViolette of Lebanon on the occasion of their 70th wedding anniversary. We congratulate Mr. and Mrs. LaViolette and send them our best wishes. And be it ordered that this official expression of sentiment be sent forthwith on the behalf of the 128th Legislature and the people of the state of Maine. Congratulations.
That is wonderful.
My
See, how can we ever thank all you people for this?
We always had nice people to work with, and they've been trying and kind to us. My goodness.
This is a different thing. This is marriage, Mom.
Oh, that is something we'd have never
Road
expected.
somewhere.
That is wonderful.
They must be talking about somebody else. We did our job.
So Karen, get beside him
I'm
so
glad
I
to
can
see. I'm glad to see. She's
She's the chair. You have to get her attention.
Mom,
very
photo op.
Social butterfly.
She's always been so social.
Yes. All right. Lucinda, look at me this way, straight.
Look over here.
Oh my.
Okay.
Great.
There you go.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. That's right. So we thank you for coming.
Well, I just hope that we can continue.
Of course you can continue.
To work with you, because we love all of you.
Oh,
And we do appreciate
They
it.
might want this because of the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll put this back in so it doesn't get too wet. Okay? And thanks for coming out on this awful night. Kinda.
We really didn't know what we were coming out for.
They didn't take you out to eat or anything?
I didn't know anything about that.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. You are so welcome, both of you. You're very special people.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
And it shows. Look at all these people here for you.
yeah.
Wow.
So thank
I
you.
don't know half of them.
There you go. There's that.
Imagine people like you and you don't even know it.
No, Karen did. It's Karen's phone.
Do you want me to name to you who's here?
I can send it to you.
Do you want me to tell you who's here?
Or text me or email.
Do you want me to tell you?
Yes,
We have
I can just put you in my phone.
and we have Lindsay and Jason.
So nice. Everybody came with you.
And we have Mark and Heather,
That's nice.
maybe Andy.
Look at that. Mark LaViolette. So you were married.
Yeah.
And then we have
And
BJ.
Oh, right.
And then we have Aunt Carol and Uncle Henry.
And Ty. I saw Ty right away. I haven't seen Ty for a long time. He's all grown up.
We have Graham.
He is.
He's a nice boy too.
He is a nice boy. Yes, he is.
Who's a nice boy?
Ty is a nice boy, Mark.
I'll vouch for Ty.
I know, I told you Miss St.
I can't believe there's something.
You deserve it.
How many good things have we seen today, heard today?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, 351-646.
We don't crash.
So the doctor
I can probably fire him onto your right now.
I appreciate it, and everything you did to help me, so that's important.
There's like 100, I don't know why she took so many.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, she walks in the house.
See Shen's over there, Shen and Shale's there. Yes.
What else you guys?
So Ty, how old are you now?
19.
Oh, good, I'm
Okay.
glad. I'm glad you're feeling better anyway.
Yeah.
Some of my kids are mid-30s, but we'll just not talk about that.
Yeah. Good. Good to see
It
you
seems
guys.
like you should be older. It seems like it's been a while.
This is a surprise, I'm telling you.
Nancy, it's gonna take a while because there's so many.
Okay, all right, no, I just kept clicking, so you got.
Yeah, I know, there's like
Well, I was
7
trying to get a good one. I'm hopeful.
I have a bunch of good ones.
Yes.
Do you want me to take those
Yes.
for you?
Just make sure you give them back.
Yeah. Okay,
You got a
ready?
ways to go, Nancy.
Oh, okay.
We're going we're leaving. Ready? Well, because I put them on there because they're on Facebook.
Thank you.
We want one without
Yeah,
paying money.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
And we
me.
can never show you the love.
Thanks for coming.
Pick it up.
I will.
Where is it? It's a good day for me because I got a call from the doctor. And he's gonna fix my leg.
Hey, Norm, how are you? Good, good to see you.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, let her go. Pass first.
Thank you, everybody, my goodness.
Congratulations, I know, right? Were you surprised?
Get up a little closer.
It's all set? Am I in your way?
No.
I'm in church.
You know, Laura,
What?
while it's still going on, for a little while, I wasn't the oldest guy in the room.
Well, that was really nice.
Wait, I gotta get
I
to
love that. They are. You're good people. They are. 70 years, can you imagine?
I can't do that, I get too many. I'm gonna go that drink to trouble.
If I need to.
They make too good of a fire starter, does
Where's your buddy tonight?
Miss Mary?
Mary.
I don't know, she said she was gonna be here and I thought she was coming, but I don't know where she is, I just hope she's okay.
Steve? Good.
Is there a third?
There is. She's just saying her last goodbyes and getting a drink of water.
Okay,
She'll
good.
be back.
Never offer Dana and I a drink of water.
Huh?
Why don't you ever offer Dana and I a drink of water?
Because you're never our special guest yet. If you ask to be our special guest, then we'll ask you.
Maybe your special guest.
You're special, just not special guest.
That was really nice. I really enjoyed that.
Sometimes. Did you prefer that we weren't here?
True.
Did you give him the thing, or does he want us, you to present it here?
He wants me to give it to them and for them to, but he thinks it's fine, so.
All right.
What was the occasion tonight?
So that was the, I'm gonna butcher the name, so the Violets.
Yes.
They've been volunteers in the town for over 50 years, as well as they just recently celebrated their 70th wedding anniversary. So we had a plaque recognizing their service, as well as a sentiment from the legislature for their 70th anniversary.
Wow,
Nice.
70. Yikes.
Nice, I met her on the way out. She introduced herself to me.
Yeah, she's she's a character.
Personable.
Yep.
I don't think there's anybody that ever met them that didn't love us.
Oh yeah. Very nice.
Okay, I just got
It's okay.
Sorry.
Alright, so Norman Steve, we asked you to come for a couple reasons. One, to get kind of an update on how this last summer and the initial application, how that all worked out. To see if you need any money yet, and to see, so also we could figure out if we were gonna need a budget for the coming year for another amount. So those are kind of the three things that we kind of.
Okay, that's what we're ready to give you.
Cool. It's all yours, sir.
Brief you on the 2017 program that occurred this summer. I call it a project, the European NIAID Management Project. Everything I'm going to tell you I've got written down here in a handout that I'll give it to you. I'd give it to you now if you won't promise to listen to me and not just.
I'll listen.
But I will pass it out now. This gives you the first line, first bar, a table that gives you the activities that took place and their costs. And the first one is the herbicide treatment of a 41-acre site on the northeast end of the Northeast Pond by a company named Solitude Lake Management of Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, under the direction of Maine DEP. That cost was $10,405, somewhat less than we had expected. The second line item, the second activity, is diver-assisted suction harvesting. That's divers who remove plants by hand and put them into the end of a hose and they get sucked up into a boat. They did Depot Pond, the Northeast Pond, and the connecting river. All of the places where we found it, they got there. They claim they manually removed everything they saw. Generally speaking, the plants got a late start this year. We expected to see them sooner, but it wasn't until late July that they were large enough to be able to see and remove. So a lot of the plants that they removed, and they claim they got them all, were rather small. I mean, giant ones. I don't know if it was the temperature or what it is. We don't have a whole lot of experience yet. But they got them all. They worked for 4 weeks, 10-hour days for 4 days a week, I think. And their cost was $23,760. There again is less than we had thought. We had them under contract for up to $28,000. The surveys, the third item, was surveys that we paid for, done by Laurie Callahan, who's spearheads what's called the York County Invasive Aquatic Species Project. So we paid her project $1,412.50. So those were the costs.
Was that a survey before, after, during?
Both. Okay. Some survey before, mostly after.
Okay, we wanted to know from an unbiased person, how did we do?
Yeah.
We didn't want us to be out there saying, "Oh, we did great." I want somebody else to tell us.
So total cost was $35,577.50. And last year we were talking about a $40,000 estimate. Now, costs are paid by Maine DEP through grant monies. They paid $22,217, a lot of money. We only expected 10, maybe 8. Don't know why they said so. I think it's because they paid Solitude directly for the herbicides, and I think they felt badly that they didn't get it all removed in 2016. And so I think that's probably, and I don't know, I haven't talked to John McFedrin as to how come he gave us so much, but we thanked him. New Hampshire DES granted us $7,128. That left a little over $6,000 and some change to be funded locally. Last year, Lebanon had appropriated $6,600 and something. And we had talked about giving you a bill for your share. It would be the same share as, 50-50 Lebanon. And we wouldn't use any TPPA money. Well, the board of directors of TPPA decided that we should pay a share of the $6,000. And so we're proposing to split it equally among Milton, Lebanon, and TPPA at $2,077.50 apiece. Now, the results here, the herbicide treatment was applied in late July, actually it was the 26th of July. And subsequent surveys in September, and these were done by John McFedrin from Maine DEP, and I think Laurie Callahan participated, found a relative is there's a lot growing, and they found a relatively small number of scattered plants in the area. And which isn't surprising since the seed beds continue to germinate subsequent to the herbicide treatment. Our conclusion is that the herbicide treatment was effective, and John McFedrin agrees with that. And we hope to find significantly less growth in the area in 2018. Remains to be seen. The diver part, they removed plants from all areas where they were found by surveys. There was no enaiad found in the townhouse pond again this year. Removal occurred over a 4-week period beginning in late July. Subsequent surveys in September found a relatively small number of scattered plants growing in the northeast pond, the depot pond, and the connecting river. Again, not surprising, because once the divers went through, they only had one pass. And then there was still some seeds that didn't come out all at the same time. Again, we hope to, we think that DASH was effective, and we hope to find less growth in 2018. That's it for the summary on 2017. 2017, if you have questions, I'll be glad to ask them. If not, I'll go on to 2018. As far as the money, for $2,077.50, Steve Baker is the treasurer, and he just talked to your treasurer, Jordan, and Jordan says, pass it on to you guys, and then he'd get the bill from you. So Steve's prepared to give you that.
I'll give you that. It's basically a different presentation with the same bottom line. I circled the Lebanon share at the bottom.
Okay. And where it makes the check payable to, and then what's all this stuff here?
Oh, that's a lot more details. If he wanted to see where we got money from and this and that, it's a lot more than we needed. But,
I make a motion to pay the $2,077.50 to TPPA.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
He's right behind you.
Well,
notes on right.
Thank you. Second page of my handout is the 2017 plan and budget. 2018, excuse me. Same activities except for herbicide. Maine DEP has no plans to apply herbicides next year. They will only do that if we find large, dense infestations that they don't think can be effectively handled with Dash. So we're not planning for any herbicides. We think that cost for budgeting purposes should be 28.5. That accelerates their daily rate by a little bit, and also assumes they're going to survey the additional 41 acres that were treated with herbicides this year. The Dash people didn't get over there this year. There wasn't any need for them to. So they've got a little larger scope of area to find, and they charged us. What did they charge us last year? 23.7. So we think for planning purposes for next year, we should move that up around 28.5.
Excuse me. They originally bid 28.80 actually, and because they didn't start early, because when they came over the first two times that I had met them and gone out on the boat with them, couldn't find anything. Can't have them pulling anything they can't find, so we kept sending them back. They didn't get really started until the first week in August, so they had to compact, which is what created these 10-hour days, but they really couldn't spend any more than the 23,760.
Right. So plant surveys again by Lori Callahan. We put in $1,500, and that adds up to $30,000. As far as paying, we've applied. We're applying for grants. I'm not sure if we've applied. I don't know if I can put that in the past tense. Do you know?
It's this week. Yeah, he put it in the report.
I think New Hampshire's RFP comes out earlier than Maine, and so our guy Wayne Sylvester is submitting the applications momentarily to New Hampshire at least.
Right.
But we'll also apply it to Maine DEP. So our best guess is we're looking at 10. Who knows from the both of them, from each of them. We may get another pleasant surprise.
And if they
then
give
again, we might
us more,
not.
your share will be less, and so on.
So the EPA, the EPA monies may run out. That wouldn't be funny. But right now, we're just for estimating purposes saying 5,000 from each of them, and that would leave some 20,000 to be shared locally, and we split that three ways, and it's these numbers here: 6,666. And for discussion, I'm simply repeating that Maine is not planning to apply herbicides in 2018. And the estimated cost for Dash is based on inflation and increasing the area to include 41 acres. The recommendation is the Lebanon and the Milton plan to each provide $6,666 next year. Now, I don't know, I'm not suggesting that you could have a warrant article. That depends if you need one. In Milton, they had appropriated 10,000 for this year, and they claim it's not expiring, so they're going to push them. They're going to push their funds into the next year. That's what they tell us.
I'm meeting with them tomorrow,
but that's probably.
But we've heard from the selectmen there that was their plan, and they would just push whatever we didn't use forward, and then if we still want to ask for 10,000 next year, there would have to be an additional warrant. But they're committed to get rid of it as much as we are. So,
what is beyond 18? What is the plan? Is it a 5-year plan? Is it really kind of 1 year at a time?
Yeah, we're hitting it 1 year at a time because, I mean, I think if we were to guess, and I'll give you 2018 numbers. I would guess that we're going to see less in 2019 than we will find in 2018. I mean, that's the objective. I mean, that's the hope.
Right.
The hope that we reach a point where it's manageable and it will reach a steady state.
Right. I mean, so this was the first year.
This was the first year that we really got to.
And so the key really is to find out. I mean, yes, you can survey this year, but the key is next year.
Yeah.
To see
what we
how many seeds actually propagated are now. Is that correct? Am I reading that?
Yes, you are reading it right. That's what we believe.
Yeah. So.
And again, there's not much experience with it. I mean, you got to remember that last year in 2016, we hardly touched anything but the 41 acres. We had the divers there all the time. And there were some plants that were removed manually by folks, volunteers, and by, I think, maybe, I don't know if John McFedrin came down and removed some around Caroline's Way, and
Yeah, he did, he was down twice.
they removed a few, but nothing measurable. And so this year, it's really the first time we go and have divers go down there and remove everything they could find. And, we didn't run into any huge, large infestations. And in some places, they seem to be a little more vulnerable than others. Got large clusters and stuff, but it's generally in the river, shallow areas on the Lebanon side, near Caroline's Way and in that vicinity. But in front of your house,
no, there wasn't anything.
There was stuff growing in 2016 in front of my house. I didn't see any this year. And it was removed last year one time by my neighbors. So that was pretty successful. But that was growing in shallow waters in the sand, knee-deep waters, and
you can see it.
But they apparently got everything they needed to get, so we didn't get much this year. We didn't get any this year. So maybe this guy's going to be, hopefully it'll be easier to manage than we'd all were concerned about. But we really can't make that prediction right now.
You need a few more, you need at least another year or two under the belt to really get a feel for it.
Yeah, to see where it lies. But I think it's going to require some attention every year, forever, probably. It's like, keeping dandelions off your lawn.
Crabgrass.
Can we bank any of the money that we have with you guys? So we're a little bit, I think we made it a little bit different than New Hampshire.
You told us that.
So our money basically expires and it just goes back into the general fund. So I can't push that to a new year. And so, and again, we have plenty of time to talk about it, but my thought would be to maybe put 1660 over with you guys, because we still have that one left over after we pay you what you just did.
Right.
And then we can go on the ballot for like 5,000. And that still covers
Well,
that
we
still
can
covers
do that
that
because I actually set up some separate bank accounts this year with.
Yeah, and I'm not really worried about escrow, just as long as it's showing you some credit somewhere that
That would be great.
We accept donations from people. We get donations. Some of our members send us their regular membership, what they call a dues. We don't call it dues. We call it a contribution. But some of them will send an extra check, say it's $100 to put in your NIAID fund or your invasive species fund, and so we do that.
Well, the town of Milton actually joins via the Conservation Commission for $100 TPP.
They join TPP.
They also pay for. We have been doing for almost 25 years now. We've been doing what's called the Lay Lakes Monitoring Program through UNH. We collect samples at 10 different times during the summer, send them to UNH, they do an analysis. And
that's to analyze water quality.
Right, and they pay all of that bill, which is at least $1,000. It's anywhere between $1,000 and $1,400 a year. They pay that as well. So anything that Lebanon wants to sign on for, we'd love to have, and we can put it into the right buckets, if you know what I'm saying. So, that would be great to put the addition, the remaining of the.
At least some of it. I mean, rather than it just it's been appropriated, so it's there.
Yeah.
So it goes back into the general fund. But I mean, if I can do that, and that way it's less I have to raise in the next year.
Yeah. The Warren article didn't say to appropriate funds to manage European NIAID in 2017, did it?
I'm not sure if it said a year.
I don't know if it was specific to a year.
Yeah, I'd have to check and see if it actually said. Well, because the other thought is that our fiscal year expires on June 30th. So you guys may have some stuff that's going on in June that we could then also pay for.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of different ways we could go about it.
Right.
So.
Okay.
You guys can figure something out.
Yeah. We'll be creative as long as you can be creative with us.
He has my email address, so if you want to.
Okay.
And if you wanted to.
I think I mentioned last time that we had a fair amount of money set aside, and I think after we take and dump more money in this year from our incoming funds, which we do every year, we're gonna be having, we got quite a bit of money. Now, I keep looking at it as, hey, this is a 10-year program, a long year TPPA could probably commit to throwing in $7,000-8,000 every year. Of course, we run out fast if we do it all at once.
Right.
But we're approaching, I think after this year, what is it? We're approaching $40,000.
Okay.
It's not a insubstantial sum.
Yeah.
Very nice.
All contributed by TPPA members over several years.
That's nice.
Wow.
Good. Alright. Dan.
Question. When the project was first being considered, there was concern about the downriver towns and cities.
Yeah.
For example, South Berwick.
Right.
As to the dicot concentration.
Right.
What information have you received about that?
We haven't heard anything bad. We knew going in that it was not gonna impact anything. We were told by all the chemists that we won't even see it. So, and I assumed that if there was some repercussions from when we did it back in late July, that we would have heard by now, and we haven't heard anything.
But we don't have the specifics to answer your question. In other words, we haven't been given any report. We should call McFedrin and find out, because I know it was part of their plan to monitor the concentration levels at various points.
Yeah.
Downstream as they went downstream. But I haven't seen that data.
Right.
That's an interesting piece of data. I'd like to see it.
On the theory that if something happened, we would have heard.
Yeah.
No news is good news.
There was also concern on the part of for well water in Milton, because their wells are in that vicinity of the depot pond, their well sites. Of course, they go down pretty deep for their water. It's not.
Well, again, not using it in the successive year, it gives those things that might have been impacted, at least it gives those the native species a chance to.
Right. And should we ever, hopefully never, but should we ever get another large infestation somehow and they would consider doing dicot again, then they'd have data to back up.
Right. Yep.
Getting Somersworth and Berwick to
absolutely
concur again.
Great.
Good, thank you.
I'm sure, did Jordan say about a week or whatever he does the
Yeah, and I told him,
yeah.
as long as I have it before year end, so that I can square away my account.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, good, alright.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for, I know your TPPA members, you did a great job this summer. Pretty
You're welcome.
impressive to watch that happening.
You're welcome. I'm buying a boat this summer. I'm gonna get out there. I haven't been on the water since 2006. Because I can't get in a regular boat, kayak or anything. So this year I'm gonna have a pontoon boat, and I'm gonna rig up a way to wheel myself on it.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah,
really.
And you're gonna stay there.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
It's gonna be dangerous because I'm gonna be driving it. But I'll get to see I'll be able to get to see the milfoil guys.
Just be careful, Mary has a new pontoon boat too, so she'll be out there.
Oh yeah, I know, and I'll have to watch out for you.
Two boat races.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll wave past at each other.
Steve, I know you were trying to help me, but.
No. I just put it there to help myself. Gathered up my other stuff.
How you been, Paul?
Oh, good.
No, good. Somersworth boy,
Oh, yeah, he is.
That's what he used to say about me.
Yeah.
We went to the same grade school, same high school.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Same church too.
Oh.
Oh.
Right, yeah, the first meeting I came to, he says to me, he says, "You from Somersworth?" I said, "Yeah." So then I put the name together, he said he knew my father.
Yeah.
Alright, so and then he said, "How old are you?" And at the time I said, "I'm 76." And he said, "Oh, you're more my sister Irma's age." I said, "I know Irma. Irma had kids that played softball in a league that I coached." And I said, "You must be Cook Nato's son." His father's name was Cook because he had a restaurant, you know.
Oh.
His father became mayor of Somersworth for quite a few years too.
Gee.
Awesome. Family tradition, Paul.
Wow, Paul.
So that's where you get your cooking ability from.
Yeah.
Strawberry shortcake.
Thank you so much for coming.
Okay.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
See you soon, Norm.
See you, Norm.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have a good holiday season.
Yes, you
You too.
too. Thank you.
All right, we got anything else?
I do. Do you? No. I just wanted to, say, yesterday we attended that award ceremony, the Spirit of America Foundation Tribute Award, put out by the York County Commissioners, and one of our residents who's not with us anymore but received the award, C. Thomas Potter. And the three of us went. It was a very nice ceremony, and there were other people from other towns that got awards, and it was very, very nice. So his son Tom and wife Barbara were there and got the award, so I just wanted to recognize that, and it was very nice.
Yeah, it was.
Another thing was yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was. We had the lunch at the school for any elderly or retirees yesterday. There were 5 of us. But Dana was one of them. So we had lunch with the second graders, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was so fun. Kids, they love to talk about anything, and they'll tell you anything too. But it was really good. So the principal, Patty Gilly, is going to do it again. She's going to try to do it monthly. Okay. And she'll be doing one in December, and she'll try to get the papers out earlier. But it was really a lot of fun. They separated us all. Us adults didn't get to sit together. We all had to go to a different table with a different class, and it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. So, and I'm sure Dana did too. And the food was good too. So they plan to do that every month and hope to build it up, and hopefully, and if anybody wanted to read to the kids or anything, they're looking for things like that to come into school. Maybe just read to the kids or listen to the kids read or something like that. So it went really well. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yep. Thank you.
That's it. That's all I had.
Thanksgiving packets. I think we're up to.
We're good. We're good.
We're good for everything.
Yeah. Well, she's gonna tomorrow.
Do you know what we need? Do we still need certain things?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
tomorrow's the last day for people to drop things off.
Yeah.
What do we need?
She's gonna survey the situation, and then she'll.
Well, it's not being on public. It might.
Yeah.
As of right now, we're set with turkeys.
Yeah.
So mostly just stuffing, canned
stuffing, cranberry sauce,
potatoes,
and
things that would go
Yeah. So turkeys were going on, but all the other fixings we need.
Yeah.
Help on still.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
So we're all good with that.
All right.
Thank you to Jenny.
Yep. Good.
All right.
Yeah, we got to talk some personnel stuff, just of course, for executive session. Open to the public. Public have any questions, comments?
I actually have a comment, not a question.
Okay.
I just wanted to thank the 3 of you for your support over at the Green Supper the other day. It was nice seeing you, and now I hear you went to that. I'm just overwhelmed. I'm proud of you for sticking together, and I think it's nice to see the selectmen going places as a board to represent our town. And hearing you say that you all went together, I'm a little moved, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Dana, nothing? Great. Make a motion, we go into executive session per 405, I got that part remembered.
Yeah.
405 6A.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's not gonna be any, I didn't forget anything, do I? Sometimes I forget stuff, nothing.
I don't think so.
No, there's not gonna be any.
Who knows?
Oh, and before you shut it on, so Jenny too, I don't know if you got my email, but I had a resident, somebody that I helped temporarily that came and gave me some $20 gift certificates for Market Basket.
Yes.
So if you wind up short, she gave it to me specifically to help somebody for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So if you wind up short on Thanksgiving baskets, please just send me an email. I'll run right out and get you whatever you need.
Awesome, thank you
All right,
very much.
thanks.
Thanks, Deborah.
Yeah, what you can do tomorrow is just bring this, because nobody's meeting.